First this evening, let's queer up trans rights. Supreme Court declines Indiana couple's appeal in trans daughter custody case. The U.S. Supreme Court rejected an appeal by an Indiana couple challenging the state's decision to remove their transgender daughter from their care. Mary and Jeremy Cox from Anderson, Indiana, expressed concerns about future conflicts over gender identity. Their daughter was removed in 2021 due to reports of verbal and emotional abuse, where Mary Cox, a self-described devout Christian, called her daughter, quote, "the bitch that killed my son." The state has cited her parents' response to her gender identity as a contributing factor to her eating disorder. While the court rejected their appeal, emphasizing the importance of the teenager's well-being, it also ordered family and therapy for all parties involved. Mary Cox had previously withdrawn her daughter from school and discontinued therapy for her gender dysphoria. During testimony on a bill aimed at preventing the state from removing children in situations similar to the Cox families, Mary Cox expressed her disagreement with her daughter's diagnosis of gender dysphoria. The Indiana Court of Appeals emphasized that while parents have the freedom to practice their religious beliefs, they cannot harm their children emotionally or physically. Though the Cox appeal is rejected by both the U.S. and Indiana Supreme Court, the Coxes maintain their stance, referring to their child as, quote, "our son." They vow to continue their fight. I'm going to say this, and I'm going to say it proudly. Fuck those Cox. Like, how fucking dare you be so engulfed in your religion that you disregard the feelings of your child, this person that you gave birth to. They're trying to be their truest self with you along this journey. They're trying to take you along with them. As queer people, a lot of us can relate to situations where, as we discover who we really are, we sort of distance ourselves from our parents because we feel like they won't understand. This child is trying to undergo this with your support, Cox, and you're doing a shitty job. Like, literally, they just want your support, your guidance. And because based off your religion is telling you that you cannot support your child being who they truly are. And maybe that religion is a piece of shit and you shouldn't follow it.
Well, and that's bull in and of itself. To use the fact that we are, devoutly Christian as any kind of reason why we do not love our child is about the most unchristian thing I think that I have ever heard. Mm-hmm. Jesus was all about helping other people and being there for them and listening to them and working with the people who were normally cast out from society. Well, your daughter falls into that category, and I'm sorry to say she probably would have been better off raised by wolves.
Honestly, aside from you, beast.
Aside from you, Cox. So I separate the two different ideas. One is taking a child away from parents that that have a different belief system. I think that it should definitely be an individually looked at case by a social worker. Just because they have different viewpoints on what maybe if transgenderism or queer is right or wrong, I don't think that you should take a child out of the home because of that. But this social worker deemed that it was abusive. It had crossed a line to the point where this child has an eating disorder. It's the social worker mandated therapy, and I don't think that they agreed to the therapy because they were just staunchly in their religion. So in this case, I do believe that they should be taken away, and every case should be looked at differently. It's a really polarizing subject. And I think there are many parents that hear their child say, I think I might be trans, I might be gay, I might whatever. And if they express some kind of hesitation because they don't know, they need to work through it and just make sure that we're not making those snap decisions. But in this case, for sure, this child needs to be away from their parents.
And they don't realize the damage that they're doing, to this child. I speak from own experience. When I was growing up, it was very hard for me to come out as a young person because there wasn't a lot of role models within my own family, and it went against a lot of the beliefs of my family. So it made a lot of turbulent things, and I identify with eating disorders because I've had weight issues my entire life as well. So, I feel for that, and I just hope that that with the good support systems that are out there, that she'll find her ways.
Yeah, and I believe that you didn't have a lot of gay role models because there weren't a lot of gay cavemen when you were a child. So.
No, there weren't.
Who could you look up to?
We're getting to the aging gracefully. Coming.
Says who?